What was once home to King Gleeok is now my house. And I ain't gonna front, I know a lot of y'all about to be like, man up. I have been avoiding Gleeoks at all costs, so much so that I've done all sorts of mental preparations and weapon preparations. Let me go to some of these builds that I created, like this one here. Today I woke up and said, you know what? Today's gonna be the day. Now this all started because my goal for today was gonna be to get Gleeok horns. Just like many players out there, I hit YouTube to see if I could find a good strategy for getting these Gleeok horns. And this is a little embarrassing to admit, I must tell you, but up until today, because of finally doing research on Gleeoks and how to fight them, I found out that there's a King Gleeok. I know, I am embarrassed, but immediately my eyes lit up thinking now I can get all three of these Gleeok horns from one fight. So I set out to face off against a King Gleeok. This is my experience and this is my walkthrough for fighting a King Gleeok. Now I did have some initial preparation before going to fight my very first Gleeok. First, I got myself a Savage Lino bow, and I'm not saying this stuff is absolutely necessary, but I'm sure it'll make this fight a lot easier. Another thing that I did was fuse rockets to every single one of my available shields. This way, I could easily fly up high and get the high ground advantage to shoot down below. In total, I think I went into this fight with about 5 or 6 rocket shields. I would like to quickly add an additional tip that you can equip armor with bone weapon proficiency and then fuse Gibdo bone on each arrow shot. Unfortunately though, the fight against this particular King Gleeok, you're gonna need yourself some cold resistant armor. Considering you only need 1 level of cold resistance, you can consider fusing a ruby to your shield, and that will allow you to maintain bone proficiency without suffering the effects of the freezing cold. Now facing off against a Gleeok is not the easiest of tasks, but it surely doesn't have to be the most difficult. The name of the game is maintaining high ground. Some players think that King Gleeoks are more difficult than regular Gleeoks. From what I understand, they think there's a total of 3 or 4 King Gleeoks. But the reality is the only difference between Gleeoks and King Gleeoks is that King Gleeoks have 1 of each elemental damage. You still take them out the same way. Rocket shield to get high ground, fuse a Gibdo bone to your arrows, and just hit each one of the heads to make the dragon fall to the ground. When it gets to the ground, that's when you start going crazy. But as you're dealing your damage, pay close attention to the animation for when the dragon's starting to get up. And that's your cue to go into your rocket shield jump again. Get that high ground, rinse and repeat, fuse a Gibdo bone to your arrows, hit each one of the heads, and knock the dragon down again. Now at the end of all of this, and it was the reason why I actually came to fight the King Gleeok instead of just a regular Gleeok, is that you get some of the best weapon fusion material. And as an additional benefit for fighting this King Gleeok, you'll also get rewarded with a Sage's Will. And for those that don't know what a Sage's Will is, it's actually something that could increase the power of the sages that fight beside you. And that's all it took to fight a Gleeok. Personally, I feel like I wasted more time in preparation than the fight even called for. If you guys got any thoughts, ideas, or tips, share them in the comments. I want to thank you guys so much for tuning in. Please consider subscribing to All City 2 for a bunch more Zelda, Tears of the Kingdom tips, tricks, and walkthroughs. I'll catch you guys on the next video or live stream. Easy, y'all.